Hey, you are along for the ride with the Mad Dog and Cole. Insert moniker here, Farrell.
Believe it or not, headlights are pretty damn important.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Man, welcome to episode 45. I think it is anyways, Cole.
We're in the 40s.
All right, cool. Welcome to episode 40 something, we think 5. Man, welcome to episode 45 of Along for the Ride. We are so glad you're along for the ride. And we've got a treat for you tonight. My good friend Lewis Alston will be with us in just a few minutes. Speaking of treats and good things, man, where would I be without my dude Cole in the Premix podcast? Amazing partner. Check him out on Instagram at the Premix Podcast, sharing his love for desert racing through the lens of a camera, and also available for your motorsports and off-road event MC needs. Hit him up at the Premix Podcast on Insta. That's at ThePremixPodcast on Insta. Of course, Kicker Performance Audio. Man, I just listened to I caught one of their Unmasked live shows Tuesdays at 7:30 Central, by the way, on YouTube and Facebook Live. Check them out, kicker.com. Man, they had some good friends of mine, Nicole Johnson from Nicole Johnson Off-Road. She is just crazy. And Aaron Hagar. And holy cow, what an episode. They were talking about being brand ambassadors. And man, if you get a chance, check it out, Cole. In the meantime, for all your 12-volt audio needs or personal audio needs, check them out, kicker.com or on Instagram at Kicker Audio. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Safety Glasses. Check them out, bombereyewear.com. When you actually get to be able to watch this on YouTube, courtesy of Kelsey Morrell Film, which we'll get back to, you will see that today I am wearing the extra sharp blue mirror polarized safety lens in the limited edition Mana Boogie Bomb, and those are going away, so get yours ordered now. BomberEyewear.com, on Insta at Bomber Eyewear. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film, turning all our nightmares into visual realities on our YouTube channel and YouTube podcasts now. Check us out, MAddOG'S Space Media on YouTube. Subscribe and like, and enjoy the handiwork of Kelsey Morrell Film for all your film editing and video needs. Hit her up on Insta at Kelsey Morrell Film.
Yes, and of course, like to thank our partners, but we also need to thank our first responders and our brave men and women and our armed forces, keeping us safe here on the home front, keeping us safe all around the world so we can do this podcast right here.
Yeah, amen. And with 4th of July coming up next week, dude, thank you, first responders and our service people, our veterans, our POWs, and the families of those who gave all. Thank you so much, so we can celebrate America next week. We couldn't do this without y'all.
Absolutely.
All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, fans and non-fans, listeners, what do we call them, Cole? Subscribers, whatever. All you people, my dude, Lewis Alston,
Oh
Voice of Camp.
man. Hey, no,
Welcome.
no last names. It makes it too personal. But wait a minute, you said non-fans. I want to talk to the non-fans.
Yeah, bring them on, Lewis.
They
Bring
got to
them on.
jump on board.
Yeah, they got to come along for the ride
There you go.
for sure.
Well,
So,
that's one heck of an intro, man. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
and thank you for being here. I know you're back in Eastern time, and it's a late recording for you, but my man Cole has a real job, so we got to work on his schedule because he's the actual brains behind all this.
Oh yeah, the smarts.
Yeah, he's the smarts and the tech. I'm just the dum dum, the blabs.
That
That's what a
looks good.
podcast is.
That looks good in those shades.
Yeah, it's funny because I had somebody ask me not too long ago, why do they were looking at some of of our early episodes, and they're like, why are you wearing shades? And I'm like, well, one, Bomber takes care of me, but two,
Mhm.
the damn ring light just blinds me. I can't see the screen. So it actually serves a purpose to keep the glare down. So
Right. You're a heck of a spokesman for them, man.
they're
That's
good
awesome.
people. They
They
are
are.
good people. So, Lewis, man, for those of you who don't know, Lewis has been the voice of Camp Razor since its inception, I believe.
You-
Um,
Close to it.
yeah, 12 or 13 for sure.
Mhm.
Um, Unbelievable energy brings to the crowd. Energy brings live and in person, let alone, on the mic. Uh, One of my favorite people on the planet. Love hanging out with Lewis. You also do the voice of the Brimstone White Knuckle weekend,
Oh yeah, white knuckle event as well as Paragon.
Paragon. Yep, and
Hmm.
you've done a fair amount of Red Bull stuff.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of Polaris stuff. You do the stuff for Polaris at Camp Razor off or at Sand Sports often.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So, I mean, he's
Been
just
around it.
out there. Yeah, and I'm not sure you're still doing it. Weren't you the announcer for Atlanta hockey team
Oh,
also?
I was the in-stands host for the Atlanta Gladiators. Yeah,
Yeah.
after 15 seasons, they changed up everything this in mid-season and got new owners, new management, new everything, and everybody got waxed. And then I guess they'll bring other people back, next year. But it ended abruptly for me. But like just 15 years though, to be able to be in the stands and on the ice and have so much fun with all the fans for 15 years, like not only that, my kids both grew up going to the games with me. Like when my wife had to work on Sundays, I'd bring the kids with me. They would sit next to me. My daughter would have Dippin' Dots, and my son would have popcorn, and they'd get into it sometimes. And then my daughter would come up holding signs that she loves the mascot, and she'd get on the mic with some Elvis sideburns or just having a blast with me. And then Riley, my son, uh, for 3 seasons, he was able to be the mascot. So we would work together, ride to work together, talk about it. All right, hey, tonight I'm going to try this. And he said, all right,
Nice.
I'm going to try this. And then on the way home, we get to talk about it. So to do that for 3 seasons, whatever the coolest thing I think I've ever done there doesn't hold a candle to the memories I got to make with the fans and the family.
Yeah, that's rad. So now 15 years. So take us where did all this begin? Because I know you're an avid off-road motorcycle motorsports guy, and some
Right.
people will say, well, it's in your blood because you're in Georgia. Um, but it's like where did it all start for you?
It started for me back in the '80s riding BMX, and that was. I'll tell you this: I moved to so many different schools and so many different states, and four different states growing up in different schools. But the one thing that kept me going was my BMX bike and a boombox and an empty parking lot. Like that's all I needed, and I was golden. Like it was way before all this, technology today. It was getting a BMX Plus magazine, and then it
Right.
it kind of parlayed. And the reason I did BMX so much and skate a little bit was because I wasn't allowed to get a dirt bike until I was 16. it floored me. Like that floored me. So no,
Right.
as soon as I turned 16, that was it. So I've been into action sports really my whole life. Like everything from the, Tony Hawk's Boom Boom Huck Jam to, to coming out to Camp Razor and having nitro circuits. Like it, to me, when I host things, like say it's a freestyle motocross show, and this isn't me blowing smoke. This is me being like legit. I am just as excited as that little dude sitting in the front row seeing a backflip for the first time. Look, I got goosebumps even saying it. Like
Yeah.
I am every time I get on the mic, like there's a euphoria that comes over me. But I am just as excited and so amped when it's go time. Like I can't explain it. I've never done hard drugs or anything. I've seen it on TV. I maybe people in my life, I know that did drugs. I don't know if that's quite my feeling, but there's a feeling that I get that is it's indescribable. Like I really once the crowd's going. So to go back to where it all started, it really started with my BMX bike, and then just loving action sports, and then once started a family, it was my son was riding bikes at 2.5, riding dirt bikes 2.5. His helmet was so big he was like a weeble wobble when he was going all over the place, but he was going like he was doing it. So we all kind of just fell in love with it as a whole. And then I spent 12 years in Atlanta radio. So I was always the guy that if anything came to town that had to do action sports, if it was rallycross, if it was, like I said, Boom Boom Huck Jam, or if it was Nuclear Cowboys, or whatever it had to do with action sports, they came straight to me. And it was so hard to sell it to radio. How do I put this? It's hard to sell it to a radio station that they think it's just kids that do action sports. It's only 15 and under. When it's no, I'm trying to explain to them, my son rides and I buy everything for him. Like it has to do with the parents as well. And so it gets a little dicey. Excuse me. Back in the day when I was trying to explain to them, hey, this is what it's all about. It's action sports, and it kind of grew. That was back when, like I said, Nuclear Cowboys were doing those whole tours and all that, and then coming out of Atlanta radio after 12 years, I was like, man, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Like this is all I know for 12 years. Like, so it was really cool that the people I've gotten to meet over the years, like the people from say 6 Speed is really who got me started. In more of announcing. Let me back up before I get to 6 Speed. Let me back up. You don't mind? I want to back up just a little bit.
We don't have a format, dude.
The way it really got started was, I was always the one. Never thought in a million years I'd be on radio. Didn't want to be on radio. I always wanted to be the guy on top of the vehicle, outside of concerts, throwing out T-shirts, on the megaphone. Like that was my thing. And I kind of honed my craft. And it got to the point where some of the jocks would get a little upset with me because we'd be at like a T-Mobile store, and the jocks would sit, behind the table like a wallflower. And I'm like, hey man, we're here for 2 hours. Give me that microphone. Like I'm ready to do this. And
let's do it.
And so, yeah. So I just, my boss would call me in like, Lewis, you can't keep going out and showing the jocks up. I'm like, I'm not trying to. And they're like, she's like, I understand that, but we got to get you on air. And I'm like, I fought it. I really, honest to God, fought it. I was like, no, I'm good. Cause I never really wanted to read on air. That was my one, nemesis, my kryptonite. Was like, I can't do that. I'd rather just do my improv and be me. And then it got to like, I don't know, the traffic guy got fired for like the 5th time. And they're like, look, just do traffic. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So
oh God.
I started on traffic, which was crazy. And then it kind of parlayed into, hey, I think I can be on air. I think I can do this. And then, started talking to one of my buddies, MAddOG'S, and we're like, hey, I think we could put a show together. Let's try it for Saturday, see if we can get on Saturday nights. We got on Saturday nights, and then we got on, during the day. And then when we got nights, and then we got on during the day. So it was a gradual thing over, I'd say, 2 years to get on air. Because like I said, it's kind of unheard of to be at one radio station for 12 years. Like usually you got to go all over the place. And Atlanta's market used to be Market 9 when I was in it, and to go on air in a market like a Market 9 when there's thousands of markets, like that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And to be able the things I got to do, like the interviews with, you know, uh, all of Nitro Circus, Jolene, Andy Bell, Cam McQueen, like Monster Jam came into town, and I'm not blowing smoke. If I could see your eyes right now, Mad Dog, I'd tell you right to your eyes. They would the things that we would do as the station would be like they gave me free reign to do whatever I wanted, and it got a little out of hand. Like it really did, to the point where I was doing games with making like grown men lick peanut butter out of another grown man's armpit for tickets. I had, you know, grown men peeing their pants, like just insane stuff, just for like concert tickets. And it was before Jimmy Fallon was doing all those, you know, games and stuff. Like I would just see the craziest thing I could think of with my buddies. We'd go and do it with these bands, and they were loving it. And it got to the point where I was like, I really like doing these games. And it kind of, that's where I started to hone my craft of, instead of being in a studio, which was really hard for me in my ADHD, I would do a break and have to go walk the halls for, you know, until my next break. Like I just couldn't sit still. But jocks that want to be in the business, they got in and they love just being in that booth. Nobody else, don't bother me. Let me just be creative. And that was one of the coolest things about radio is I got to be creative every day, man. Just be creative every day. And then it kind of grew where the Gladiators, that's how it's kind of parlayed into the Gladiators. I was outside and I made a catapult out of PVC, and I used to shoot like whole fish filled with cottage cheese into people's necks of their shirts, to the point where years down the road, a dude came up to me and he's like, "Lewis, you're the dude that made me catch a fish in my shirt. You ruined my favorite Hawaiian shirt." I was like, "Man, that was 2 years ago. Let it go." Like, so I got to really hone my craft and to be able to have games like we do at Camp Razor and things like that.
Yeah.
And it was at the end of my radio career, I was like, man, I have no earthly idea what I'm going to do. And like I said, I met so many people over the years, like through radio, I've met so many people, and they kind of like, I would call around and say, "Hey, you know, do you guys have anything going on? I'd love to host something." And then out of the blue, I don't know if you know Ravi. Ravi used to work with Six Speed along with Andy Dixon, and then also TC.
Yeah.
And so I love this story. This goes into a good story. So Andy called me up because he heard from Ravi that I host stuff. Well, Andy calls me and he says, "Hey, Lewis, we got this Camp Razor that we're doing on the East Coast in Tennessee, which is at Brimstone, and it's not that far from you." I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool. What is it?" And they explained it to me, and they're like, "So we just want you to go on stage, give away this stuff, and give away a machine, and give away some suspension." And then it was like, "Then we want you over here on the prize wheel." And I was like, "Oh, this is what I was born to do." Like I knew that. And Andy's was coaching me. He's like, "Hey, Lewis, listen, I don't want to get your hopes up. I just want to be honest with you." And that's what I loved about Andy, man. Always
Right.
honest. He goes, "Listen," he goes, "we already have an MC for Glamis that we do every year in October. Yeah, but this one we'd love for you to host it." I'm like, "Oh, cool, right on. You know, I'll try it out." Well, this is so cool. So Andy, I get there, and Andy pulls me up on a Ranger, and he's like, "Hey, here's the prize wheel. I'll come back and get you. I'm gonna drop you off. You do 45 minutes at the prize wheel." This is no lie. This is no lie. I promise. I swear on my kid's eyes. No lie. Andy comes back after my first prize wheel, and he pulls up and he's like, "I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before." He goes, "What are you doing in October?" And this is where I called his bluff. And I was like, "Oh, you mean for Camp Razor and Glamis?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, you already had an MC. You didn't need me." He's like, "Oh, no, we don't have a Lewis." And then it kind of just like, it just kind of grew. And then it turned into, "Hey, Lewis, you got to give over $250,000 in prizes in 2 days. You got to give it away." Like, okay. And just gave me kind of free reign to do what I wanted.
But this energy, Cole, and fans, this is not the only reason I love Lewis, but this is Lewis all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty obvious why we get along. Um, but yeah, it's and that's so rad because I've seen him work the crowd at Paragon, seen him work the crowds at Brimstone. I've seen him work the crowds at Camp Razor West, and I've seen a lot of his videos from when he was uh, working with the Gladiators. And dude, the energy, like you said, the passion, and I get your euphoria deal
Right.
because when you're up there on stage or at the prize wheel or walking around saying crazy stuff, um, especially at Camp Razor, and shout out to Polaris and
Yeah.
the 6 Speed crew for bringing us all together, because I
Right.
never would have met you had it not been for that, and Dave Butts.
All
But
right.
my man, the general, Dave Butts, love
That's
him
right.
to death. Um, uh, you know, it's like I can hear you out there. You're in your euphoria. I'm back there with basically the entire back of house on my
Yeah.
shoulders, and I'm in my euphoria.
Yeah. But dude, you ran that boneyard, man, like nobody's business, dude. I don't think no one ever really sees what goes on backstage. Don't get me wrong. I love what I do, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But there is a lot of work involved in what we do. We
Yes.
just have fun when it's time to have fun.
Yeah.
It's always setting up and breaking down, and nothing wrong with that. It keeps me going.
Yeah. No, it's rad. So okay, so we're up to Camp Razor East Coast,
Yeah.
and then Camp Razor Glamis the first year.
Yeah, that
Um,
was that was the first year I got to hang with God, who was there? Tom Parsons was there, Ronnie Renner was there, Renner's
Rendog.
brother, RJ Anderson, I think came out that year.
Yep.
Um, we've had some epic years. And not to take away from the first year. The first year I'm just trying to grasp. People ask me all the time on the East Coast, hey, what's it like in Glamis? I really can't explain it. Like, if you could ride on Mars, that maybe what it would be like. Like, there's no landmarks. There's no you can't you don't if you don't have GPS or ride command, you're done. Like, you got to really know where you're going out in those dunes, and you can't cross like this. You got to go over it like a wave. Like, I I really wish I could explain to people like what Oldsmobile Hill really looks like, because video does it no justice.
No, not at all. And Cole's a dune and desert dog. And
Oh,
so
he gets it.
actually, yeah, the very first time I met Cole was at Camp Razor, right, Cole?
Yeah, and what's so weird about that is I grew up in the desert almost every weekend, and I'd never been to Glamis. I'd never been to the dunes all my life. So the
Huh.
first day I went to Glamis, I also met Lauren. So it was just a weird day all around.
Right,
And it was
right.
a Camp Razor, so it was probably that would have been like
2013, I think.
13.
I think we figured out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So probably your first year. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
yeah, man, I've been honored to spend some time with you. So, all right. So we're up Camp Razor. What else are you doing? Like you just did Memorial what is it? Memorial Day weekend? You do White Knuckle or is that Paragon?
No, it's gonna. You know what? I haven't gotten anything. I don't know when it's gonna be. It's usually, I think, in September, if I'm not mistaken. At Brimstone.
Yeah.
Brimstone has turned into my backyard, even though it's Tennessee and I'm in Georgia. Like, I love going there. I love the trails. I love the people. The Love family is like no other, dude.
Yeah.
The Love family is insanely cool. Like, and it's just then listen, I say that, but it's like the Hatfield McCoys up there because it's in the sticks, and some groups don't like other groups, and other riders don't like. It's really fishy sometimes, but I love it. It's nothing but family, and that's what I get out of all the Camp Razors and the Brimstones and the like. It really truly, it is a family event. Like, and I think that's when I did a lot of stuff with Highlifter. They were saying that there for a while, it started to get too bad. Like these kind of gatherings were getting too, too crazy out in the woods, and too many bad things going on. And I know for a fact that high lifters like, hey, look, let's bring it back to family. Let's bring it back to what do the kids want to do when we're out there? What do the families want to do? And once we started turning that corner, it was like, wait, like Camp Razor, we had the kids zone
Yeah.
and had battery operated razors, with a course and everything. Like, it's super cool. Like the things that they think up, and I say they, like Six Speed and Polaris, and like I hate saying out of the box, but they're so far ahead of the curve of the way. I tell people all the time that the way that Six Speed runs and Polaris run their business, it's kind of like a Red Bull. Like
Yeah.
you can't run. No one can duplicate what Red Bull does. Where they put their logos, it's not just thrown up everywhere. It's in strategic places. Like, they think so different, and I love that. It makes me get creative, working with Six Speed and working with Polaris, and everybody's at their game, and they love to bring you up with them. Like, they're not. No one's beneath anybody. Everybody's on the same level, and that's what pulls me in every year. With Polaris and Six Speed, and probably to the day I die.
That's Yeah, and that's one of the super rad things is, we really, like, when we're out there, we're all really, family. I mean, we're a lot of us have a lot of the crew have worked together a lot. Last year, I think there was only 2 returners from Six Speed, but the rest of the crew, I mean, you, me, Butts, Kiwi, all those guys,
Right.
And
Shields.
it's just such an awesome time I look forward to it every year. And it's brutal, and grueling. I mean,
Right.
I'm not gonna lie, we talked about that in the Camp Razor episode back in December, and it's like it is, or October, I guess, November, whenever we did it.
October.
And it's grueling and it's brutal, and you're out there for a long time. You're sleeping in a rented trailer, and
Right.
and
Sand everywhere.
yeah, but in the same right, it's so rewarding to be a part of it, and really, like, your passion for and love for what you do comes through so much on the mic, and that was like, we talked about it before we came on, but it was like getting Cole on the mic at that event, the very first UTV Invasion he did. It was the same deal. All of a sudden it was like he hit his mark. It's like, oh, I belong here, and there's no question about, like, you belong up there on stage. Sometimes I'm sure there's some people that are like, I'm not sure that Lewis should have a mic.
Yeah. A lot of the partners is they'd be next to the speaker, and like, my job is to talk all day long, like, wherever we are. And I know, like, some of the guys down at Fox, like, Lewis, please just stop saying the random stuff. We think you're right behind us, and you're like, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm a little much sometimes.
Oh no,
But
I think it's great. I mean, it's a good thing that our radios are private channel and not monitored, because I will literally, back where I'm at, I can hear 90% of it. And if I happen to hear something, I'll go on the radio once in a while and go, did Lewis just say blah blah blah? And
yeah, I still have Six Speed friends of mine that I still talk to. They what is the one line that I use? I don't wear white shirts in summer because it looks like I'm smuggling butter. Like, we still say smuggling butter all the time. So yeah, we still bring up some of those crazy things. We even had a quote one year. We had a quote board and I made, oh man, I can't remember. It was something like, I was on the mic and we were doing a testing for something, and it was the night before, so nobody was out there. It was just, just us working. And I said something like, "Hey, you're gonna have to go to the store for me. I think I started, and pick me up some chips." Like something just, it was so random, and they wrote it down, and then we kept going with the quotes and stuff. But the 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 attention to detail that Polaris and Six Speed put together, no one else, no one else, no one else can hold a
Yeah.
candle to it. That when I'm out there with 25,000 people in a desert, and I can't even see the end of the heads. Like it's just a sea of heads.
Yeah.
And
It's
just,
crazy.
you know what else is crazy? And I know you guys are on the East Coast, or Cole, you're on the West Coast, right?
We're
Yep.
both on the
Yep.
West Coast.
Oh man, you too, Mad Dog?
Yeah,
You're
I'm in
not Central?
Arizona. No, Arizona, bro.
Oh man. Well, tell me this though, because you travel a lot. East Coast and West Coast people are completely different. Not in a bad way. It's not in a bad way. It's just I remember my first Camp Razor Glamis. My plane ride. I was like, oh my God, what if I can't make Californians laugh? Like I didn't know it was. I really thought like that. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I know what to do on the East Coast. Like this is where I grew up. But it was no different. It really isn't. The one thing that is different is the East Coast, and this isn't talking bad about the West Coast, but the East Coast, those people are so thankful and so grateful when
Yeah.
we would go to Jericho or we would go, on the East Coast just to get a sticker or just to get a T-shirt was like, not to say that California are too good. They just want maybe bigger stuff in a way. They're looking for the bigger
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
But I
it's
think
definitely a state where they go, okay, show me. Or
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't come in with open minds. As a Californian, I can say
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah. I am
Right.
I am not a Californian, so I have no opinion.
How political.
I love
Yeah,
it.
it's yeah, man, and something I want to cover real quick because this is a real really solid good memory for me, a really like rough memory and a really good memory um that both involve you and not at Camp Razor, but I believe we were at um it was Brimstone White Knuckle in Tennessee there when Phil crashed a
Oh,
razor on the jump, and I think you were MC that day.
mhm.
And that was a horribly somber day, you know. Um, but then when we did, I think I did Paragon with you the next year,
Mhm.
or a year after. And so here we are. And of course, uh, the family was nice enough to hook all of us up. Um, I was doing the ride event on the new XP Pro release for Polaris,
That's right.
with Butts and Mrs. Butts. Kelly, love you.
Mhm.
And so, anyways, they were nice enough to hook us up with the VIP badges, and so we were kind of what you'd call backstage, I guess.
Mhm.
And Phil was there, Rendog was there. Um, uh, who else was there? Bartram? Was Kenny
Yeah,
Bartram
Bartram was
there?
there. Matt
Yeah.
Byton was there.
Byton was
Uh,
there, which,
yeah, Byton. I got to go with a story about Byton, but later.
but it was such a great memory for me because here's Lewis calling these guys and like, you know, Byton, Cowboy Kenny, Renner are my dogs. You know, I know
Right.
all those guys and they're just good
Good
friends
people.
of mine. And I'd only, basically communicated via messaging with Phil. And then he gets on a bike
Right.
and Lewis announced the whole thing. And it was like, I don't know how the hell you held it together,
Right.
but dude, that was like one of the most uplifting moments of an event I can honestly say I've ever been at was
Right.
watching him do a burnout on the roof of a car,
Yep.
you know?
Yep. And I can't take all the credit, but I probably didn't get emotional because I was working with one of my MC idols, Micah, the MC for Nitro Circus. So
Yeah.
he was kind of taking the reins with it. But you're right, it was very, very emotional because the day that it happened was really rough on everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
if we take it back to that the year before, like that was something, and a lot of great stories out of that one. But it was all just when it happened. It was like it was all everything was almost in fast forward until it happened. Like we were trying to get up there. We were about to go live. I needed to get up there. I actually had to take my rental car and had to drive it up the mountain with my family. And I had to tell my daughter to put the back window up, where she was about to bounce out because we were jumping and bouncing all over the place to get up there. And I jump out of the car and he's already in there warming up. And I'm like, oh, and I saw Travis and uh, everybody's, cheering him on. And then they're like, all right, Lewis, go down and tell everybody what's going on, blah, blah, blah. So I get on the mic. Hey, welcome out, everybody. Thanks for coming. We're going to hopefully break a world record. And then it happens. And it was surreal, but everything went into slow motion. Like their handler got a hold of me, and like as Travis and everybody are getting him out or getting him to where they can get him to the life flight, they came to me and said, hey, go up and down this. I mean, there was thousands of people up there. Go up and down and on the microphone and tell everybody he's moving. He's okay. We're going to get him to the hospital. And like the whole time, like I'm second guess what I'm saying because I didn't want to say the wrong thing and be disrespectful. So it got really hairy. It got really hairy for me, but more so for Smagical and his family. Like, and Travis as well. Like I know that night, everybody in Nitro Circus took off and was at the hospital all night long. Yep. And to watch Smagical through that year of recovery was something I was thankful that I could watch on Instagram or on social. I felt so hard, I felt for him.
Yeah.
But he gave he gave everybody hope. Like, yeah. I broke my ankle, a few years ago. First time I ever broke a bone in my whole life, which was crazy. And I think that's bad. But then if I think back, like watching him go through that, to his physical therapy, from him, taking his first steps to getting back on a bike, to now my man is doing kick flips on a snow skate deck that's on the snow. Like he's insane. His determination is that so well with Nitro Circus. Like his determination was like something I've never seen. Never seen.
Absolutely. And his drive, determination to recover and get back to what he loved. And right. It's amazing to watch, and to have seen. But for me, it was crazy. Just to watch it all kind of unfold to the point where he's doing a burnout on his bike on the roof of a car.
Right.
Like no training wheels. No, I mean,
right.
When it was all him, bro.
They told him he probably wouldn't walk again. Like a move. Like he wasn't even supposed to move. My man was back on a bike. Like I hate that it happened to him. I really do. I really loved watching his recovery, and still to this day, like I'll still, have to text him, hey man, just want to say, hey, like just good people, man. Just great people.
That was such for me, that was a major iconic emotional event that I was grateful to share with you and a bunch of the team, and we came out with some really good pictures. Mm-hmm. Lewis and I think Ruckus was there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, DJ the Ruckus was there.
Yeah,
and that was the first time I got to do a post with Travis. Like, and let me back up really quickly. So in radio, because I told you I was, the only one that loved action sports.
Right.
I came up with this thing, man, where I wanted to be the first DJ to successfully pull a backflip, but it had to be taught by Travis. And if I couldn't do it in one day, then he could tattoo 199 on me. Dude, it was a win-win for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it sounded great on air. It really did. Like, I interviewed Andy Bell. It's like, hey, tell Travis I got this challenge for him. He's like, okay, I'll tell him. Cam McQueen. I did a challenge with him in Barbie Jeeps at the station and told him. He's like, okay, I'll tell Travis. And then Jolene, Street Bike Tommy. I interviewed everybody, and I'd say, hey, don't forget to tell Travis. And it was like 5 years. And I got to the point where I was like, all right, well, Travis isn't going to do it. And my son and I was broadcasting live from Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is the first year he was doing NASCAR. And I finally got to meet him. Like, all right, let me back up even further. In our house, Travis Pastrana is our Michael Jordan. Okay.
Right.
Ever since the kids were, could talk, it was Travis. So to meet him was mind blowing for my son and I. So I took him with me. And damn if Travis didn't go, Lewis, you're the guy that everybody keeps calling me at least twice a year. Did you get to Atlanta and do that with that challenge with that DJ? And he's like, man, finally. He goes, what are you doing in October? And of course, I'm like, you're Travis Pastrana. What are you doing in October? He goes, I'm home for 1 week. Why don't you bring the family? I'll teach you that backflip. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, you got it. Exchange numbers. And next thing you know, I'm driving 14 hours up to his house. And the whole way, I'm like, all right, guys, we get there. Travis, he'll probably have 100 people around him. He's probably just going to show me and then get going. And so I'm trying to just embrace the kids for, hey, I know this is your idol. We might not be able to hang out with him. It's just for on-air purposes. And dude, we get there and I don't even remember who answered it. I think Piranha answered the door and he goes, hey, Lewis, Travis knows you're here. Go down to the garage, start unloading. He'll be down in a minute. So we pull up to the top of his driveway. And like I said, he's our Michael Jordan. Like, we've seen every Nitro Circus since DVD, and wore him out. Like, so to pull up at his house and to look out and look, I got goosebumps again. Look, I don't know if you can see it. I got goosebumps again. Get out of here. So we pull up and it is exactly what it looks like. Insane. Yeah. And so we pull down and I started unloading everything and I brought my BMX. And I brought my son had a 65 then, I think. And then we brought this 50 and Travis comes down and he goes, what's up, Lewis? He hugs my wife. He gives the kids high five. And he's like, all right, Lewis, let's go grab a bike. Let's go jump. I was like, whoa, hold on a minute. I just drove 14 hours, man. He goes, no, let's do it. He goes, I see you brought your BMX bike. Grab that. And I said, all right. He grabbed a mountain bike. And so Piranha towed us up to the top of his driveway. And he goes, Lewis, 2 rules. Don't turn right. Don't let go. That's all I have to say. He goes, it's super easy. You got this. And I was like, all right, Travis, you got it. He goes, watch this. He took off, man. His tires were humming down the driveway. He hits the kicker and does a double back with a twist into the foam pit. Right then, I was done. Honest to God, I looked at Piranha. I was like, what the hell am I doing here, man? This sounded great on air. I don't know what I'm doing. Kicker in my life. Like, I can announce, I can tell you that what I love. I'd never hit a kicker before. And he goes, this is crazy. So Travis gets out of the foam pit and I hear my kids go, let's go, Dad. And then Travis yells up, yeah, let's go, old man. Oh, I was like, oh, hold on a minute. And I put the GoPro on and I took off and I wasn't going to let go, man, no matter what. And so when I took off, I did like a super flip. So both feet came off, but I held the bars through the flip. And we got it on video. Like, Travis is like, Lewis, we need you at like a 2, man. You're at an 8. He goes, don't try doing no footers yet. I was like, I didn't know what I was doing. He goes, do it again. And so what was crazy about a flip is I did them into the lake growing up, but never to dirt. And the craziest thing is the first maybe 8 to 10 of them, I couldn't see anything. Like, I was flipping and it was skyflip. Like, I didn't know where to go. And then after like the 8th or 10th one, it started to all slow down and it all started, like, I felt the rhythm of it. And it was the coolest thing. And so Travis is like, oh, you got it. He said, go in there and grab a 110. And I said, okay, you got it. So I go grab the 110 and he starts getting the kicker out and he's pulling it out from the foam pit. And I was like, hey man, like I said, and I'm trying to be quiet, right? My whole family's there. I'm trying, like, Travis, I never hit a kicker before, man. I don't know if I saw what Street Bike Tommy did years ago. Like, I don't know if I should be doing it. He goes, no, your form's good. And he said, don't tell me no. Like, honest to God, he said, do not tell me no. And he stopped himself. He goes, look, this is why I said, don't tell me no. I've watched you. He said, you got the form down. He said, but if you go in tonight and go to bed, we're going to have to start back at ground zero for tomorrow for you to get that form again. He said, so let's do it now. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not telling Travis Pastrana no. So I get it, and I'm starting to warm up the tires, and he puts the ramp out, and he goes, Lewis, all you got to do is pin it in third gear the whole way through the flip. That's it. I said, oh my goodness, this is the great part. As I told you, we love Pastrana. We love everything about him and his family, and one of the coolest memories of that whole trip was my son was up on top of the foam pit, and he jumps down, and I'm warming up the tires, and I come up to him, and he's like, Dad, you don't have to do this. You know, I know you never hit a kicker before. You already done it into the foam pit. He goes, I think you did it. As I'll call it as you did it. And I was like, all right, man, no, I don't think I could tell Travis no, but I'm going to do it. And so I mean, I don't know. I probably went around in circles like 20 times, almost got dizzy, almost to the point where I was like, do I go? I'm going. And I pinned it and did it perfect. And my son was on top, and he started pacing back and forth, and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he just jumps in with me. Like, he didn't know what to do. Like, he couldn't believe I did it. So that everybody's screaming, and here comes his dad. His dad comes down, Travis's dad. And he goes, what the hell's going on down here? And he goes, oh, Lewis, the DJ from Atlanta just pulled a backflip. And he goes, oh, I thought I was taking somebody to the hospital. And he was disappointed. Like, it was an honor to meet him because, you know, he's a Vietnam vet. My dad was a Vietnam vet. Like, It was just super cool to meet him and for him to come down. Like, it was our Disneyland, if you will. Like, we got to hang out with him all night. Like, and it was my son's birthday when we went up there. And my daughter will kill me if I told this story. So I told Travis, like, hey man, we're going to go out and celebrate my son's birthday. We'll be back. He goes, okay, cool. We're going to go in town, get something to eat. We'll be back. And then he goes, but listen, Travis goes, listen, you're staying right across from the game room. We might be a little bit loud. So if we are, just tell us. And I looked at my family. I'm like, Travis, yeah, I'm not telling Travis that he's being loud. This is his house, right? He grew up here. So I said, yeah, Travis, no problem. So we go and eat and come back, and my daughter's got to use the restroom, right? So we go down in the gym. I hear Travis come home, and I hear the door open upstairs. I'm like, hurry up, Sam, we got to get going. And he goes, Lewis, hey, we're going. I made your son a bonfire for his birthday. Meet us in the back. Grab anything out of the garage. Okay, man, you got it. So we get up to the garage, which I've never seen so many UPS and FedEx trucks come to one house in my life to this day. We we go up to the garage. My daughter and I open the door, and I went, oh my God. I said, all right, there was a Harley, there was a Ranger, there was a Razor, there was a scooter, there was everything in there. And I looked at my daughter and I was like, okay, hon, what is one thing if Dad breaks on the way out there to the bonfire that he can pay and fix? And she pointed to the scooter. I said, let's go. I put her on the scooter. We through the woods. So we get to the bonfire. It's maybe 5 or 6 people, Travis, my son, my wife's there. And I pull up with my daughter, and my son comes over and he goes, I'm not riding back with Travis. He rode on the 4-wheeler with Travis to the bonfire. And I said, what are you talking about? That's Travis. He goes, Dad, my helmet was dragging the ground. We did a wheelie the whole way through the woods, and I kept kicking him in the helmet because I was scared. I was like, all right, I got you. My daughter goes, I'll go. So we put her on him on the way back. So we get done, and we go back and we start playing foosball, which is crazy. Travis is just as competitive as he looks on nitro circuits, or as people say. Like, he said, hey, get out of the way. And he started playing with the family. And I think my daughter or son scored on him. And he actually, like, I saw it in his face, like, he's like, He goes, I'll be back. And he went over, he had a buck hunter game in the game room. So he went and played that. And I was like, hey, Trav, you all right? He goes, yeah, I'm just competitive. I'll be all right. And then he comes back, he gets back in there. Let me try it again. Like, all night, just hung out with us. And then he goes, hey, guys, you're going to stay over here. And he peeked in the door. He goes, if you guys need anything, let me know. And if we're too loud, let us know. I'm like, no, you're good, Trav. Like, you've showed us, the coolest hospitality I've ever could even dream of. And he goes, he said to the kids, hey, what time do you guys get up? And my son's like, oh, I get up whenever, this early. And he goes, well, I get up at 6 and, or I get up at 5 and I'm going to go work out. You guys want to work out with me? And my daughter's like, and go in the hot tub. I'll go. And I'm like, this is the only dude you'll ever go in the hot tub with. Like, this is a little thing. But, so Trav got up at 5 a.m. and I didn't hear him, but apparently he came and got both kids. They were down at the gym working out. And Riley said that they were out by the pool. And he said, Travis looked down and he said, hey, can you swim? And as he was saying swim, he throws my son into the pool. Like, he's like, Dad, he didn't even hear if I could swim or not. I said, well, did you swim? He's like, oh yeah, I swam. So he couldn't have been any cooler to me and my family. Like, he showed us, he didn't have to. Like, I was just a DJ from Atlanta. Like, he didn't have to do any of that, but he is truly, genuinely a nice guy. And the family, like, genuinely does it for the good of people.
For sure.
Insane. And so the next day he's like, Lewis, I think he had an Alpine Star signing or something. He goes, hey, I got to leave. My wife's coming in. That's when Addie was born. That was a couple months after Addie was born. And he goes, you guys are more than welcome to stay. Go grab a bike and hit the trails. So I took the family and we went out and just got lost. And dude, there were kids in the trails coming towards us going, hey, is Travis home? And I'm like, and I'm like looking at my family, like, do I tell them? And I'm riding a Nitro Circus 110, right? So I'm like, oh, I don't think so. We'll see you later. And I'm like, kids were jumping the fence. And like Trav, he got onto two kids and he's like, hey guys, you can't just jump the fence. And the kids were like, oh man, we're sorry. Can we at least get a picture? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And so he got a picture and they had to jump back over the fence. Like, that's what kind of duty is. And that's what kind of time that we had. Like, insane. And still to this day blows my mind that we got to do that.
That's so rad. What a great story, dude.
Right.
But I've had the opportunity to meet Travis and spend very little time with him, actually. But I would 100% back you on what you're saying, just from what I know of him. But, dude, it's like, Lewis is like the regular dude that knows everyone.
Yeah, but I don't remember anybody's name. Hey, what's up, buddy?
You only have to as long as you're on the mic, right?
Yeah, right.
No, seriously, dude, what a great story. And the family thing, it's rad. I've had the opportunity to meet your family and your dad.
Yeah, Big Lou.
Yeah, Big Lou, and that was truly an honor. And thank you, Big Lou, for your service. Long for the Ride has huge respect for our veterans and our service people all around the world. So we really appreciate it. Lewis, we're gonna have to wrap. I think we are going to have to get you back.
Absolutely.
And it would be
what's up, Cole? Good to hear you again, buddy.
Yeah,
you were
I'm
sitting
still
back
here
in the cut. There he is in the desert, getting dry.
He gets as much into it as I do, and then he'll like what was it on the Mia episode where you actually muted yourself?
Yep.
Because he's like, well, I don't really have anything to say. I'm like, dude, you're the co-host.
Chime in,
yeah. We still have these discussions, Lewis, because he's like, well, you told me you wanted a producer. And I go, surprise. And he's still not surprised. Like 45 episodes later.
Yeah, but so many times the stories are so good. Like example, 5 minutes ago, where it's like, I don't want to stop this train. This is awesome. This is everything I want to hear right now. I'm not going to butt in and and kill the vibe.
Yeah,
Not at
absolutely.
all, man. Hey, I always tell people ADHD is not contagious unless you're hanging out with Mad Dog and I.
Yeah,
You
Oh
might
yeah,
catch
now I'm
something.
right in the middle of it.
Yeah.
stand back and watch things happen. Called magic.
Yep. Well, dude, I will definitely come back, fellas. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I'd
Going
love
down
love
memory
to.
lane.
Yeah, I'd love to get you back. And now that we know where you started, we got to get towards the future and what's happening current and future.
Yeah.
But we want to get you back here soon. And it'd be super rad to bring Ruckus in like halfway through or something.
Heck yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You said
because
it's PG-13, right?
it's not PG
It's not.
13.
Oh yeah, get
No,
him in. Get him in.
no. BC Vought fixed that for us in his first episode. So, according to Cole, I don't know. I don't do that part. Um, but yeah, no, it's so much fun to do this, and like God has truly blessed me with great friends, and you are one of them, and I'm so grateful that you've been on my list since I think day one, huh, Cole?
Yes, absolutely.
Right
Yeah,
on.
and it's like trying to work between people's schedules, and it's like when we had the opportunity, I think I was probably going to get you a couple of weeks ago when we had the opportunity. um I've been promising Mia Chapman for
Yeah.
like 6 months.
Yeah.
um and I was like, it finally worked out where she was home and we were available and we could do it on the same night between her brother's I think graduation and her
Oh,
cousin's
jeez.
graduation. So yeah, yeah. So we're just really blessed to know a lot of people, and you're one of the people that I am overly blessed to know, and I appreciate it. Lewis, do you have got any? Well, first Cole, Purdy, what do you got, Cole?
Oh man, I'm so glad you're on tonight, Lewis. And then I feel like we barely scratched the surface on your story, so you have to come back on. Hopefully before Camp Razor, but a bare minimum right after Camp Razor when the stoke is still high.
Ooh, I see. Oh, see, Cole. That's why you're the producer, man. Always thinking. I love it. Yeah, dude, guys. Anytime you want me to come back, just hit me up. I'll do it for you. No worries.
Nice. Any special shout outs or branding you wanna give mention to, Lewis?
Uh, like always, I think we did. Polaris at the top of the list. Polaris Razor, Ranger, the whole fleet, if you will. 6 speed, and I still got some things we need to talk about off air.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a tease. That's a tease. No, if I could leave with one thing, I would say, hey, good things happen to good people, man. That's how I live. Good things happen to good people.
Amen. For sure. And Lewis, you're one of the best, and you are really great at being great to people.
Thank you, buddy. You are too, man.
And
You are too.
that's
You're like family when I saw really quickly when I saw you at what is it, the sports Southern Sports Sands, what is that,
Sand Sports Super Show.
Sands? That's it, man.
Yeah.
There's so many S's in that. I was like when I saw you there, man, it's like seeing family. Like
Yeah.
there's so many different faces, there's so many new people, and there's always something going on, but when I see you with your glasses on or with them off, yeah, it's like seeing family again. So, dude, I love seeing you out and about. I love running when our paths cross. I love it. I look forward to it, and I definitely look forward to coming back with you and Cole.
Yeah, for sure, man. We're gonna do it soon. So
And yeah,
with that,
cool.
Lewis, thank you so much. Appreciate
Welcome.
you so much, my brother. We
You're
will
welcome.
talk soon because we've got a lot more to cover.
Yeah, a lot. Later, fellas.
Later.
Later.
Have a great night.
You too.
Man, my energy's high now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I thought I was coming into this thing 10 out of 10. Now I'm at 11.
Yeah, well, we go to 11, just like Kicker Performance Audio. find them online, kicker.com. And be sure and check out Bomber Eyewear online, bombereyewear.com. On Instagram at the Premix Podcast. Our man Cole sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the camera. Also available for MC work. Send him a message. The at symbol, ThePremixPodcast on Instagram. And of course, Kelsey Morrell Film. I know she's busting away trying to get some more. She's had a tough couple of semesters. So really grinding away, getting that video production now. So we will have a bunch of episodes coming up on YouTube podcasts and our YouTube channel. Find us Mad Dog Space Media, MAddOG Media, and give a shout out on Insta to at Kelsey Morrell Film for all her great editing work. Cole, what you got?
Happy pre-4th of July.
Yes, sir. Just want to say an extra thank you to all our veterans. Man, so grateful for all you've done over the years, all our active service people. Thank you for allowing us to celebrate freedom this coming 4th of July. Thank you so much, Lewis Alston. I can't, dude, my computer, my laptop is on fire right now.
In the best of ways.
It's so excited. Like,
I'm sad we couldn't do a 4-hour episode because we could have filled it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, it content,
gives us the opportunity to create more content down the road for sure.
That's good marketing. You would know.
Well, it's what we do here at Mad Dog Media and Marketing. With that, I had a special shout out and I forgot for who, but I do want to cover congratulations, Seth Quintero, episode 43, AJ Jones, episode 43, and Mia Chapman, episode 42. On their Seth won the Red Bull Solstice Scramble in Alaska. Mia finished a solid second, set fast time for the event, and led most of it before part failure put her back second. And AJ brought up third. All team Red Bull athletes, all on the podium. So pretty exciting there. And all recent guests of Along for the Ride.
If you come on this podcast, you will get on the podium. Nope, I'm making that promise. Your money back guaranteed.
That's pretty rad. That's a big step, Cole.
Oh, get ready, BC, because the trophy's coming your way.
Yeah, I would have to say there's a pretty good chance with for them. So with that, come on the podcast, get on the podium.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Mad Dog out.